Hi everyone, in this Framer tutorial we're gonna take the scroll variant animations one step further by using some extra variants, like these rotate animations while interchanging the title component's position, which is going to make our layout's interactivity really interesting and extraordinary. You can find the links for both starter and finished files in the description if you want to follow along and or remix. So let's get started. As you see in our starter file, we have this arc that we created in the last tutorial. If you haven't watched it, you can find the link in the description below. I'll start with wrapping the arc and border and the icon in a stack and rename it section title inner, and I'll make it width fit content, height report height, and its right and left padding 100. Then I will center the icon to the container and the arc. To make the arc animation even more interesting, I will duplicate the existing arc, and in its loop effect settings, I will make its rotation minus 360 degrees. To preview, let's select both of the arcs and under their transition settings, make their delay 2 seconds to be able to quickly preview. And now we can see two arcs rotating in the opposite directions meet at the center and create a great effect, right? Of course, I will make their delay 10 seconds again after previewing. Since we need two variants of the title component or the arc to use in some sections on the left and for other ones on the right, we need to wrap it in another stack that has full width and height. So I will select section title inner, and I'm gonna wrap it in another stack and call it section title, and its width should be filled, and I'll make its height report, and its distribute should be at the start. We're gonna change this to and in the second variant, right? Now I can make it a component. In the component screen, I will create another variant, and in the new variant, I'll change the distribute under layout to and to create the variant that has the arc on the right. Now we can create our section component. After going back to home screen, I will create a frame, place it under the hero section, and I will name it section. And since also for the section element we need to cover the whole container width and height, I will make its width filled and height report. Then I'm gonna make its fill a gradient, which starts at the bottom from mid-blue from the styles with 20% opacity. That goes to transparency, about 80% mark of the gradient bar. Now we can create our text for the first section, which says keep elements neatly aligned, and its text style should be set to body. I will wrap the text in a stack and call it text wrap, and make its width 50%. I'm gonna make sure that its height is set to fit content, and its padding should be 50 pixels. Now we can also make the section frame a stack and make its direction horizontal, distribute and. Since the first variant should have the text on the right, I will also select text wrap and make also its distribute and, again to keep the text on the right in the first variant. Then I will select section stack again and make its padding 104. Now we can turn the section into a component and create a new variant. To have the text on the left in the second variant, we can make its distribute start. Since the text in this variant is on the left, we also need to select text wrap and make its distribute start. to keep the spacing consistent. Last thing we need to do for the section component is selecting the text in the primary variant and clicking the content under text section, creating a formatted text variable and naming it simply text. Now I can go back to home screen, duplicate the section component, and change its variant and content, right? So after duplicating it, since we're going to use interchanging positioning for the text in the every other section, I will change its variant to variant 2 and paste the text I've generated with ChatGPT for the text element. And I'll repeat the process for each section. Now we can create additional variants for the section title component. We're gonna create a new variant for each title instead of assigning title and icon to the variables and entering them at the home screen. Since we're gonna need some in-between animations before switching to the active sections variant. It might sound complicated, but we're gonna see that in a minute. Let's make a direct transition first to see the difference. After going to section title component screen, I will edit the arc text and icon to show the second section's title in the second variant. So after selecting two arcs, I'm gonna change their content to spacing and icon to format line spacing. Now I need to go back to home screen and add a scroll variant to the section title component, right? But in order to do that, let's define scroll sections for all the sections. So I'm gonna give scroll ID 1 to the first section, 2 for the second, and so on. Then I need to make section titles position fixed and center it, and make its top spacing 0 to fix it at the top. I will also make its width 100% and height report. Now I can add a scroll variant effect to the section title component. I will make trigger section in view and report center. Section is gonna be 2. Since when the section 2 is in the middle of the report, I'm gonna switch my section title component to its second variant. Now when we preview, we see when we scroll down to the second section, our title component gets switched to its variant 2, right? Sliding and showing the title and icon that belongs to that section. We can create other variants to keep the animation like this, but we're gonna improve it with an in-between variant or transition. Before that, let's hide the title component in the hero section and make it enter the first section with an animation. So I'll add a scroll transform animation to section title component. I will make trigger section in view. Report setting is gonna be bottom, section is gonna be 1, and under from I will make opacity 0. I will click 3D and enter -360 for both X and Z values. Now when we preview, we can see our title component enters the screen with a nice animation. That almost reminds a UFO, right? Now we can start adding the in-between animations for the sections, right? So after going to section title component screen, I will duplicate variant 2, carry it above the variant 2 and rename variant 2 as variant 2.2 and the new variant we've just created as variant 2. Since we're gonna switch to this in-between variant to create the transition. While the new variant 2 is selected, I'm gonna make it distribute start to take the title to the left. Then I will select arc and border in variant 2 and enter 230 for its Y rotation on the right panel. Then I will select both arcs under variant 2 again and make their opacity 0. Then I will select material icon in this variant and make its width and height 1 and its opacity 0 to hide it. Then under transforms I will click 3D and enter 360 for X, Y and Z values to create the icon animation. Lastly, to make the animation more interesting, I will select Arkham border under variant 2.2 and in the transform section on the right panel I will enter -310 for X and 360 for both Y and Z values. Now all we need to do is adding a time transition from variant 2 to the 2.2 one, right? After dragging an interaction to that variant, I will select appear as trigger and enter 0.5 for delay value. While variant 2 is still selected, I will click the spring next to transition on the right panel, enter 2 seconds for the time and make the bounce 0.1. Now we can go back to home screen and in the scroll variant effect settings of the section title component, we can change variant 2.2 to our new variant 2, right? As after renaming it, this 2 setting also has been changed. Let's preview. When we scroll down to the second section, we can see our animation looks way more interesting, right? With a nice easing and rotation. Now we need to create other title variants for the following sections, right? After going to section title component screen, first I will duplicate variant 2.2 and name it variant 2.3. Then change its distribute to start to take the title to the left. Then I will select both arcs in the variant and change their content to color and icon to invert colors. Then I will duplicate variant 2, name it variant 3, change its distribute to and its appear interaction settings. I will make its target to variant 2.3. I will go ahead and repeat the process of duplicating and changing the distribute settings and content of the title component for all the sections. Now I will go back to home screen under scroll variant settings of the title component. I will click add section and for section 3 I need section title component to switch to its variant 3, right? And 4 and 5. Lastly, I will select go to top button at the very bottom and for its target section I will select the first one to be able to go to the first section with smooth scroll. Now we can test our sections and as you see, for each section our title component gets switched to the relevant variant and shows that section's title and icon with a great animation, right? I hope you liked the tutorial. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, turn the notifications on, check my other tutorials and see you in the next one.